How would you describe your playing style now in 3 words?
Creative, risk-taking, composed. My name is Fabio Carvalho and I play for Fulham.
So how long have you been at your current club?
8 years now.
And where were you before?
I was at a local team called Ballon Blazers, and then I got scouted by Fulham.
Do you remember your first day at Fulham?
Yeah, so I'd done a few sessions, and then my first game was Tottenham away, and I started on the bench, and we were losing like 3-0. And then I come on and I scored 2 and assisted 3, and then after that I got signed.
When did you first train with the first team?
I remember that as well. It was after one of the FA Youth Cup games. So I was first year scholar, and we actually lost that game against Leicester, but I played well. And I knew like obviously people higher up was going to watch it. So the first day I came in after that game, I got called over to go to the first team. And I just remember like being in like the rondos and my legs were shaking. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? It hit me after it ended. Because I didn't really want it to end because I was just learning from like all the players like Andre Schürrle, who's won a World Cup. After training, I just remember like calling my family like, yeah, like this is the beginning. So
how did you sort of gravitate towards that number 10 position then? Was it always in your mind coming up through the youth ranks that that's where you wanted to play, or just playing to your strengths?
So at Benfica I used to play on the wing, and I still like love playing on the wing. But then obviously coming over to Fulham, they saw that they could get more out of me playing on the 10, like creating chances and scoring as well. It was difficult at the start because I was just used to like playing on the wing and like beating my man and coming in and trying to get shots off. Where in the 10 you have to like constantly be checking your shoulders, and like there's a lot more around you going on.
And what is the sort of biggest lesson you've learned from your first year with the first team, if you were to reflect on it now?
Don't get overly happy with like when things go your way, and don't let like bad things get to your head when it's not going too well.
Who has always had your back in your football career?
My brother. Like, I feel like he trusts and believes in myself more than I believe in myself, like, because he knows what I'm capable of doing, and like he's always had my back through everything. Just training with me even after like Fulham training, he'll come with me to do a bit of extras. Like, he's always had my back. So like I can only thank him for the position I'm in today.
Who is the most famous footballer you've got on your phone book then? Because you've been turning out for the under 21s recently from Portugal. I want to see if you've done any networking.
I have a few of like the Portuguese, obviously my teammates as well. So my phone book. I'm not gonna say famous, but I'm gonna say who's like in kind of similar positions to myself. Anthony Elanga. That's my bro. We met through like the England like camps, and we've just stayed in contact since. So
what is the most people you play football in front of?
The City game. There was a lot of people there.
And how did that feel? Do you feel those eyeballs, or are you just so focused that it doesn't matter?
I think you feel it like when you're playing in front of big crowds, but that day I was just so focused on just getting on the ball and just showing everyone what I've got that I didn't really like care what people like were looking or what they were thinking. It was just get on the ball and just do my thing.
How often do you get recognised in public now you've had your breakout campaign?
Yeah, I get recognised a few times, but it's not nothing crazy, but I don't mind it because I get like people coming up to me like wanting a picture and that, and I'll always like take my time to do that because I've been in that position. I've been that guy or that kid who's seen a famous person and wanted to take a picture with them.
Do you remember any of those encounters you had when you were a kid? Did you get like a photo of an idol?
You know Quaresma?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I was like back in my neighbourhood and he came around and he's at a cafe. And I remember, obviously we didn't have phones back then, and I remember we had like this camera, and it was like, maybe like 10 euros or something. And then I went in there and I was so shy, and I was like, my hands were shaking. I was like, oh, can I get an autograph in the picture? And he's like, yeah. And then, yeah, that's the earliest memory I have.
Who was your idol growing up?
I'd say Ronaldinho probably, because I remember watching him play like once. Obviously I didn't get to watch him play as much as I would like because of my age, but like watching videos of him and just how much fun he had with the football, it's just, yeah.
If you go back a year and give yourself some advice, what would that be and why?
Just work hard every day, like, because you don't know what can happen like in the space of 6 months and a year. Your life can just change, and like even standing here now, I think I still could have worked harder and harder. As much as I already do, there's always so much more. There's so much more you can do and so much more you can work on.
Are you quite self-critical, and do you think that's necessary?
Yeah, but I think it's necessary to an extent because you should be able to tell yourself when you've done well and when you haven't done so well. And I feel like that's a good way to like improvement. But don't beat up yourself too much, because that can also like drag you down.
Yeah.
So.
And do you ever feel the pressure?
Yeah, but I like it. Like, you kind of like take it in and embrace it, because if you want to be the best, you've got to be able to deal with the pressure.
And how do you deal with it? Have you got any like coping mechanisms? Is it like, let me just go and play football, let me just go to the gym, let me go on a run?
I kind of like write things down and like speak into existence. I think that's a big believer in like speaking into existence, and whatever you say, as long as you're putting the work behind it, it will happen.
Is there one football player you still get starstruck by?
Right now?
If you were to meet them, would you, and you just become like a bumbling mess? Is there a player?
Ronaldo, Messi, yeah, because they're the two goats in it. So if I was to meet them, I'm trying to keep my cool, but deep inside I'll be like, oh my god.
Is that how you're gonna answer that question as well? If I ask you which one is better, are you just gonna say both of them?
You put me in a spot here. I've always grown up liking Messi more, because it's what he does is just crazy. Whereas like my brother, he loves Ronaldo, so me and him growing up we're just beefing about who's better in that, and we literally have like physical fights. But now that's behind us. So yeah. So
this is your current FIFA rating. What do you make of it? I want your honest opinion.
I'm not happy. The only good thing is that there's a lot of room for improvement. So yeah. So hopefully next year, the years to come, we'll get that 90+ rating.
What aspects of your game do you actually want to improve on next year? Have you already identified something that you think over the next 12 months I'm going to work relentlessly on that?
Physicality, I think I need to work on, because I'm not the biggest, but as long as you have technique and you're able to handle yourself, you don't really need to be that big or physical. Also shooting as well. I want to be able to get more goals, and my shooting needs to be better, I think. So I think they're the main two things.
So in a year's time, say we did a follow-up interview,
yeah,
what rating would you be happy with?
In a year's time, I know EA are a bit strict, so I'll say 80 rating. Yeah.
I like it. Punchy.
Yeah.
And before we wrap up this part of the interview, have you made yourself any promises, let's say, for a year's time?
In a year's time, I've told myself that I'm going to be in that World Cup squad for Portugal. So that's the target.